Hey, and welcome back to the desk. I have pulled out my trusty Wind in the Willows. I'm going to get back to this. I got my big tub of 100 crayons, but I'm going to set that aside because these are the crayons that I'm going to be working with because we're going to go back to mole. So the history of this, I did a lot of this is like in chalk. This is definitely chalk. What was I going to say? Kind of got tired of coloring the characters, so I went back and I did all the skies, and then I came back and I did some of the water. I'll say that reminds me, what did I do with my chalk? I thought I had the chalk with the book too. Uh-oh, ripped it. Here, I'll push it up just a little bit. There we go. I love the way those trees turned out, and that's just soft pastels or chalk, as I call it. This is just a book I picked up at a thrift store, and there was only one page really that was colored in it, so I got lucky on that. I've done all of Toad, and now I'm working on Mole. I did that with chalk. You can tell where I flip it because it's ripped right there. He's lost in the forest. Gets to go see Mr. Badger. He's telling about Toad, and this is where we end. So yeah. So the rest is just like Toad and probably different sky backgrounds. So the soft pastels do really good on kids' coloring books, and I just use, excuse me, that was sudden. This is the page that was colored on, so I mean that's not even bad. I can color over that. It'll be fine. But I just use soft pastels and a Q-tip, and it does pretty well, you know. I was trying different techniques and trying to get, this was trying to get more of a night sky. I don't know. I think I may go back in and darken it some more. But I can constantly be critical of my work. I think this turned out really nice. This one's done, but in rubbing over in the lines, excuse me, I think I'm going to come back at the end and go back over all the dark lines. Oh, I forgot the door, and of course I haven't done this. But the rest of it is done, so I think it's going to look nice once it's done. And it's been super fun for I think I paid 25 cents for this. So let's get back into coloring Mole. I gotta remember. Let me get a refresher. Okay, we're just doing his hands and face and all that. Alright. Dang it, I'm not going to be able to get in there. Yeah, I got them all phlegmy still. That's just from the living in the South. Every spring I get like this, and I haven't talked in a while. So all that phlegm builds up. And I haven't talked because nobody's been here. I've just been piddling around the house, and it's been raining. Goodness, the girls have just been sleeping. And then during the breaks of the rain, the birds come out and eat the worms. So the girls really have enjoyed that. But other than that, I've just been sitting around enjoying my day. I got paint underneath my fingernail. I was working on the black composition book that goes, mini composition book that goes with my brown one. So I never finished painting it, like all the black paint, so I got that done. And then I was going to film this video, and it started downpouring and storming again, so I had to wait. It's getting kind of chilly, too. I still got the window open, but I ended up putting on a sweater. But now I'm just kind of like, man, I probably should shut that window. But I don't want to shut the windows because the girls enjoy it so much, so I'll probably just end up suffering. It's probably like 66 degrees in the house. Who are all these people, and why are they eating sandwiches? Otter and 2 hungry hedgehogs. Alright, let me pull out my eggplant. So yeah, I guess I'll tell you the color I'm using. This is eggplant. The other was vivid violet. The nose is desert sand with black. If anybody's coloring along with me. All other YouTubers are like giving out Prismacolors, and I'm all like, this is my crayon color. No, that's just another part of my message, you know. I just have some very distinct things that I want people to know. And I want to share with people, and I want to like stress. And one of them is stop buying supplies. Just use what you have, and you can do beautiful things. You don't you don't need like polychromos to color. You don't. And I know they're nice to have, and I mean I've got a set of Prismas, and I love them. And I would absolutely love to color this entire coloring book with my Prismas. I just switched back over to my violet. And I really wish that I could, because let me tell you, Prismacolors lay down so good on this paper. I colored one kid's coloring book page with Prismas, and oh man, I fell in love. But the thing is, I'm not, the cost. I cannot justify the cost. And then I know that I end up getting supply paralysis, where I'm like, oh, I have all these delicious supplies, and now I don't want to use them because then they'll be gone, or nothing is worthy enough for me to do this, or you know, whatever. Like, I'm not going to color in this coloring book um until I'm better or something like that, which there's really nothing wrong with that. I think we all have coloring books like that. I certainly do. But when it becomes every coloring book, you know, you're like, okay, are you really a coloring person, or are you a coloring book collector? And there's nothing wrong with being a coloring book collector as long as you know that's what you are and you're not just collecting and collecting out of fear. I had shared before that I started coloring with crayons um, because once I got my set of Prismacolors, I was really excited and I'm like, yes, these are all the colored pencils, or, this is the coloring medium that I'm going to use from now on. And when I run out of a color, I'm just going to buy that color. And, it'll be great. And then I find out it's not so easy, that it's not so easy to find some of those colors. And then when you do, they're very, very expensive. And I'm just like, whoa. So I got really depressed because I was like, this was my plan. I had asked Jeremy for these pencils for Christmas, and this was going to be my plan going forward. And I was going to stop buying these budget brand pencils, and this is what I was going to do because I was tired of having 5 and 6 sets of pencils everywhere. And because, like, oh, if you use Castle Art, that's great, but they don't sell open stock, so you can't get open stock. So I was really, I was pretty bummed out. I'm not gonna lie, I was. So then I started going, and dipping back into my Crayolas. And I'm not really a big fan of the Crayola pencils. They're okay, but I just don't like the way they blend. They just, to me, they just don't blend very well. And then I had, well, Jeremy bought me this pack of crayons that they had on sale at Ollie's. Like for back to school, they had their 100 pack of crayons on sale, and he was like so excited to buy me these crayons. And I was just like, I don't ever use crayons, but he was so excited. And I remember we went on a Sunday, and he went straight back there and he found them, and he was just so proud. And we went up to the counter, and he was holding them, and he was just beaming from ear to ear that he had found me these great art supplies, and I love that. And little did I know that probably within a month that he was absolutely right. I'd say it was probably more than a month because that was like at the beginning of the school year. This was more when did I start doing this? Did I even put it at the beginning where I started? January. Yeah, so it's January. So, I think Mo looks pretty good, don't you? Let's move on. We can always touch him up later. Um, I use a eyeliner sharpener to sharpen my crayons. I think it works the best, and I don't even bother unwrapping them. Okay. So yeah, he was so excited to get it for me, and so I got this book. I think I got it in January, and I brought it home, and I can't remember what I think I colored this and I colored it with crayon because I wanted to see how crayon would do. This was already colored. And I really liked the way it looked. I was like, wow, I've got some good shading going on there. I got some highlight, I got some shading, you know. So I decided to go for it. I dropped my crayon. Y'all see my face? Cameo. Gotta make sure my big head's not in the frame. So yeah. I just fell in love with it, and now I freaking love crayons. There's just something amazing about coloring with these crayons. They just, and in big open wide spaces and stuff, like with these kids coloring books, you don't care about using up the product, because good lord, you know. You can walk into any gas station and get crayons, and pretty cheap too. So it's just kind of become my go-to thing now. I need to look and see if there is an art store in Knoxville that sells Prismacolors, and if they do, what kind of stock they have and how much is it. The one thing I think I really need is a crayon holder. I made one out of a highlighter lid to help me hold on to my crayons when they get smaller. Is that his cheek? Well, I bet that's his ear. It's so quiet outside. I wonder if it's getting ready to rain again. There's only a very few birds singing. Last night when we came home, all the frogs were out singing. We have a stream that's probably about 3 houses up. Maybe not even that far. That would be his back foot, right? His back foot right there. And it's just full of frogs. And then we also have a whole bunch of tree frogs in our area. Which is funny. We have a little pond out front, but I've never seen any. Well, that's not true. I've seen a frog in there, but nobody's ever raised any frog babies in there. Because I usually have a couple of goldfish in there. But I have seen several like tree frogs in my yard. Which is always cool. And go, hey, there's a frog. Because tree frogs are kind of hard to see. Oh, shoot. I mean, hold on for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Totally forgot that I needed to text Kenan. I hate that. I hate when I forget. And I got a Sprite, so. Should I have rewarded myself for forgetting to? I guess I'm rewarding myself for remembering. How's that? I do hear some rumbles in the distance. Oh, I don't know if it's headed this way or not. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. This purple is just not wanting to lay down. Come on, eggplant. It's just wanting to crumble. Instead of laying down the pigment, it's just crumbling everywhere. I hate that. It's like, dang it, there went my good point. That's, I think, my biggest gripe with crayons is that they won't keep a good point. Or there's no way to even put a point on them. One thing I have found the love of is painting with super tips. I do that all the time. I love that. Which is another cheap art. I don't know why I can't get this one to look smooth. Come on, come on, Mo. Don't let me down. I don't know about this one, guys. I mean, I guess they all can't be winners. Sometimes it gets goofed up, and like I said, especially like with this where it kept crumbling. And when that happens, I just scrape it off if it gets a goop. Too big of a goop. Oh, that was terrible shading, Tracy. You just went around it. That was terrible. What was the point of even doing that? You didn't shade anything. Just gave him a bozo nose. What was the point of that? She said. You disappoint me in so many ways. Impromptu singing to myself. I really have been spending too much time alone today, I guess. See, this is why I should have shaded it, not weirdo. I could scrape it off and do it again, but I really don't care that much. You're not really going to notice. Oh no, we're lost, says Mole. And I'm just going to go ahead and just shade this right off so that I don't do something stupid. The way I've been doing the glasses is I've been doing a little white in the middle. And then I do silver all over. I always put down the white first because that will resist and give it just a slight highlight. And then I just do a little shading on the glasses here. Oh, they actually included it over here on this side. Usually they don't. That's been driving me crazy. It's like, where's the other side of his freaking glasses? All right, Vivid. Where are you? Vivid's starting to get short. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. That song is going around in my brain. Like we used to. I don't know about you guys, but just in the back of my brain, there's just songs playing all the time. It's just like a constant soundtrack of my life. And then when people say things, it invokes different songs in my brain to play. Just like you cannot say the word countdown. Because as soon as you say the word countdown, in my brain, I hear, it's the final countdown. I could probably communicate entirely in song lyrics. Me and Jeremy used to play this really cool game. We really don't play it as much anymore. But when we first got together, like when we were waiting for our food, we would play like a word association game where we would just start with like a random word. There was different ways that we could play it. So one way to play it was we could start with like one random word. And then that person had to like come up with a song lyric with that word. And then the next person, which was I guess was me because we'd take turns. So then the next person would have to say a song lyric that had one of those words in it. Like it could be the word is child. And then Jeremy sang, she's got eyes of the bluest skies, and if they thought of rain. And sing that, and whatever he sings, whatever portion of it he sings. Because if he just said, ooh, sweet child of mine. See, then I only have sweet and mine. And of, I guess. That doesn't really count. Because you have to then find a different lyric that has either sweet or mine. Of course, we tried to like give as much as we could remember, give plenty to work with. But there were times that we could only like remember like one little verse or line. But it was fun, because we just try to keep it going as long as we can. And then we also would play, like we'd name a band and we'd have to name all the songs by that band that we could remember. Then we also played like categories like bands with food names, and we had to name all the different bands we knew that had food names. Or we might do the same thing with like songs, like all songs dealing with food or songs that have Saturday in the title. Jeremy and I are both just like music lovers, and we could play those games for hours, and we did. We did. I think that's one of the reasons why we had so many different varieties of games because, we'd go, oh, well, let's do this. Can we do this? For me, the funnest one to play games, because then you can't like repeat either. So to me, the funnest one is the lyric association, where you have to pick a song based on, the lyrics of the other song. Because for the most part, that's pretty easy for me at first. And then after a while, it gets challenging because your mind keeps wanting to pull from those same few songs, And it's like, nope, you've already used that, or, so you got to really dig deep into the recesses of your mind. And also, it's really hard when we're doing just subjects like songs about dogs. And you're like, and it's also very difficult if you play in a restaurant that's also playing music. It's nearly impossible to play this game in that scenario. But it doesn't really affect Jeremy very much because he can't hear very well. But for me, it does. I mean, there are times that I have to say, honey, I can't play because the music's too distracting. Because that's all you can think about is that song or that artist, or it's hard to tune it out. It's not hard to tune it out. It's impossible to tune it out. You just cannot listen to music and think of another piece of music at the same time. It's just, you can't. Your brain just doesn't work that way. Your brain's like, does not compute. I'm getting warnings on my phone that rain is coming. I'm also trying to keep an eye on the time because Jeremy will be home soon. Because I didn't get to make this video when I wanted to because of the rain. And now we got more rain coming in. I'm getting flash flood alerts on my phone. Hopefully we won't get a weather alert on the weather radio because that's annoying. Especially if it's heavy thunderstorms. That is just the worst because it talks about hail and hail damage and you should be inside and blah, blah. You're like, just shut up. Just tell me. Just tell me that there's a warning. Maybe I can change that. But Jeremy's misplaced the instructions. And he's the one who set it up. I knew I should have set it up. Don't you hate that? You're like, man, I should have just did it myself. Did I know? I think this may be the last little guy we color today. He's getting there. We're getting there in this book. Everybody go and grab your crayons and grab your favorite kids coloring book and just go and have some fun and release some tension and relax and don't worry about supplies or using your supplies because it's so cheap. Cheapity cheap cheap. How does he look? I think he needs a little bit more contrast, don't you? This eggplant just does not want to play well with this violet. I just made him look bald for some reason. Sorry, Mr. Mole. I didn't mean to make you look bald. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Somehow I've given the illusion of baldness. I think it's this. See if I can blend it out. Well, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. You're just making it worse, Trey. No wonder you're so worried, Mole. I'm doing a terrible job. Like, oh, I'm so worried she's not going to be able to shade me correctly. And I'm sorry, but you're right. You're right, Mr. Mole. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right to worry. But at least I'm trying to bring you to life. Don't I get some brownie points for that? I am arguing with a coloring book. I have lost my mind. People are unsubscribing in droves. I kind of want to keep his cheek a little bit light, but it's almost too light. There we go. I think he looks pretty good, don't you? He's coming together quite nicely. All right, we didn't get very far. Somebody's out there trying to mow their lawn. Do they not? They insane. It is actually raining right now and thundering, and somebody's out there mowing. Weirdos. He's looking pretty consistent, don't you think? His tail looks kind of green on camera there, but I swear it's not. All right, guys. You have a good day, and I'm glad you could hang out with me. Another weather warning I was looking at. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad you enjoy my Wind in the Willows book. I love it. I love my little mole. So anyways, I will see you soon with more coloring. Bye.